everybody. My name is Becky Rosenthal, and I'm part of the Union Tribe and really the global tribe out here, keeping the vibe up while we continue to go through this really interesting time. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit and expand on the garden meditation that I offered yesterday. I've been trying to keep the meditations somewhat simple and also give folks things to focus on. I know that when I first started learning how to meditate, just sitting still was quite difficult for me. As I would sit still, I would notice all the little crazy chatter going on in my head, and it was quite uncomfortable. And so the idea of using my breath as something to kind of focus on was very helpful to me. And so yesterday what I offered was a visualization of being like a gardener, planting seeds of gratitude and love and patience. And when I shared that video with some friends, their reactions were, yeah, super great, but what I do with the emotions of rage and anger and anxiety in me, what do I do with all that when that comes up? So I ended up having some conversations with some folks, and then I realized they're probably not alone. So I wanted to just take a few minutes and expand on that. So we're not going to actually do a meditation in this video, but I would like to take a little bit of time in explaining how you might work with some other emotions. It is my belief that humans come into this world fairly equal. And by that I mean most humans, when they're born, have 2 arms and 2 legs and 1 nose and 2 eyes and 2 ears, right? We have a physical structure that we come into. Of course, there are people that are born with many challenges, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about in general. We have this pretty normal little shell that we walk around in, right? Beautiful shell. And what happens is we also come in with these little seeds, if you will, seeds of emotions. We'll just call them emotions, but there are specific seeds of love and of joy and of happiness and gratitude and kindness. And there's also seeds of rage and anger and destruction and violence and hatred. And we all have all of them. The question is, which ones do we water? Which ones grow and are very obvious in us? And so the other day when I was offering that idea of planting these seeds, and people got confused and said, well, what do I do with the angry seeds? I like to use this idea that, let's say the emotion or the seed of anger, you're noticing in meditation, you're sitting in meditation, you're trying to practice and cultivate, right, this loving energy, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and this thought comes up and it's creating rage or anger inside of you. One of the things that I've learned to do based on an acronym, and I'm going to teach you that acronym, it's called RAIN. RAIN, recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. Recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So as this seed of anger arises in me while I'm trying to sit and be peaceful in meditation, the first thing I just need to do is recognize. what is that? Oh, it's anger. Anger's coming up in me, right? And instead of saying, oh, bad anger, or watching the crazy thought and story I have around where this anger is coming from, I simply just recognize it. Oh, anger's coming up in me. And I allow it to be there, because so often in our culture, we tend to put emotions into categories, like these are good emotions and these are bad emotions. And the way I see it is that they're just emotions, right? I'm not my emotions. An emotion is just happening, right? And emotion is coming up in me. But I'm many things. I'm not just this one emotion at this one moment. So going back, this seed comes up. I recognize it. I name it. Oh, I see you. I see you, anger. I feel you. I see you happening in me right now while I'm trying to be peaceful. I feel you, right? So that's recognized. I allow it. I'm just being with it. I investigate. Once I notice it, I name it. I allow it to be there. Now I want to look a little deeper. Like, what is underneath that anger? And most often we know that when anger or rage come up in us, there's usually something even more under the surface, right? Usually it's fear or sadness, because with fear and sadness, we don't like those emotions, and so we get angry at things because we're really hurt by them. So instead of being hurt and acknowledging the hurt, we turn that around and get angry. So that investigating is a really deep practice. And it can take a long time to be able to decipher between what's coming up and what's underneath. That's one of the reasons we practice meditation, right? We practice and practice and practice, because not every day is going to be easy. So going back to rain, the N in rain is about nurturing. So I notice an emotion coming up. I name it. I recognize it. I name it. I allow it to be there. I investigate. I look at it. What's the truth? What's the real thing going on here? And then I nurture it, right? I do something to connect with me. And my go-to is always hands on myself, right? Hands on my heart, hands on my chest, so I can feel and be reminded that in this moment, I'm alive, right? No matter what's going on, no matter what's coming up, the reminder that I'm alive often is enough to just kind of slow that down a little bit. And so I either put my hands on my chest or my heart. I'll put my hands on my stomach. Sometimes I'll bring my hands right up to my third eye or the middle of my forehead into like a prayer position. And I try to tap in, right? Tap into that wisdom that I know is there, but might be a little bit clouded right now. So finding a way to nurture yourself when these emotions arise is really a key piece of meditation, because not every day is going to be easy. When we're in the midst of the coronavirus, right, life is not like it normally was. We have a lot more to be concerned about. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have a lot of fear about what will happen, when things will happen. Will I have a job? Will I have any money? What's going to happen to my family who's frail? I mean, we have all these extra pieces that could really create some disharmony in our body, or dis-ease, right? So the practice of meditation gives us a chance to bring our body back to ease by the way we sit, by the way we breathe, by the way we watch as things come up. Are we able to let them go? Are we able to allow it to come out and go? Or is it got a hold on us? So when we practice watering the seeds of gratitude and love and patience, I did that so that you could start to sense what that would feel like in you. And the more we water those seeds, the easier it will become when other seeds try to hijack us, right? With these more difficult emotions. One of my teachers uses the example of like a flower. So let's say this is the flower, or the seed rather, of anger, and that seed comes up. I have a choice. I can notice it, watch it, name it, allow it to be there, and then I need to nurture it. And by that, I bring up another seed, right? A seed of love, a seed that can hold or contain it. I don't try to push it away. I don't try to fix it. I just try to hold it. Just like a baby. When a baby cries, they don't have any other way to communicate. So they make this noise because they want attention, right? And if you know anything about babies, you just pick up the baby, right? You just pick up the baby and you hold it. And after you hold it, then you can start to kind of decipher and listen to and figure out what type of cry is this? Is it a I need a new diaper cry? Is it a I'm hungry cry? Is it I'm sick kind of cry? But we first just hold the baby so we can even figure out what it needs. That's what meditation practice is doing. It's giving us a chance to hold ourselves on the days that we feel great and that we plant the seeds of love and joy and gratitude, and on the days that we don't feel so great and other emotions come up. We know how to hold our emotions. We know how to be with our emotions. We know how to not get carried away and be stuck in the crazy of our own emotions. And I can tell you, as someone who has gotten very crazy with their emotions in the past, I'm so grateful that I learned what to do, because getting carried away just creates more chaos in ourselves and in others. When people all around us are acting crazy and screaming and yelling and doing things that just pull us out of balance, someone has to take the reins, right? Someone has to be stable. So I hope for you, by practicing with meditation, with this idea of rein, recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture your emotions, you're able to be the calm one in the storm. And we're kind of in the midst of a storm right now. We're getting to the tail end, I believe. You know, the sun is starting to shine, the clouds are starting to part, but you know, things are different. There is no old way anymore. This is a new way. No matter what the new is, no matter what the now is, that can change over and over. So if you've listened to all that, all I want to say is please keep practicing. And if you're confused about anything I've said, please make a note in the comments section. I will look at it and I will try to respond to you. Have a great day.